Hi, this is Rabbi Zach Pleasant, and you are listening to You've Always Belonged Here, Temple Israel of Westport's new podcast. Each week, we will share moments from the Bima given by our clergy team or conversations with members of our staff or community.
I hope everybody had a nice Passover week. Do you know how long we Jews have been celebrating Passover? Too long, Evan says. Are you referring to the 7 or 8 days, or are you talking about I would argue not nearly long enough. 3,000 years, we've been celebrating Passover and most of the other Jewish holidays. Sometimes we say that Hanukkah is a new holiday because it's only 2,000 years old. But this evening, I want to speak about a new liturgical season that was added to our Jewish calendar much more recently, in the middle of the 20th century. In addition to counting the Omer, which is considered kind of like a bridge from Passover to Shavuot, we're in the season of the Yoms. Yom HaShoah, Yom HaZikaron, Yom HaAtzma'ut. Yom HaShoah is Holocaust Remembrance Day. Yom HaZikaron is Israel's memorial day for fallen soldiers and victims of terror. And Yom HaAtzma'ut, Israel's Independence Day. This year they'll fall on April 13th and April 20th to 21st to 22nd. These changes, this new liturgical season that was added to our calendar in the middle of the 20th century, I would suggest is a change. Sorry, what did I write here? I can't even read what I wrote here. I'm sorry. Is a recognition that the 20th century changed forever what it means to be a Jew. Judaism changed so much with the Holocaust and the establishment of the State of Israel and the need to defend it, that we needed new ways to memorialize and ritualize and remember. So Yom HaAtzma'ut was first celebrated in 1949 on the first anniversary of Israel's independence. That's pretty obvious. Yom HaZikaron became a holiday just a few years later, and same thing with Yom HaShoah became, I'll call it an observance. It started in the 50s and eventually was codified into Israel's calendar in 1959. It's interesting to me because Zionism has been known generally for rejecting Jewish practice, Jewish ritual practice at least, and certainly Jewish liturgy, rejecting synagogues and rituals. And so it's very interesting that Zionism added these 3 observances and holidays to our calendar. It's interesting also that they did not call the way they chose to name these holidays. Most holidays in the Torah are known as a chag. That's literally the Hebrew name for a holiday. But none of these 3 are chags. They are what we said, as I said in the beginning, they're all yoms. And not just yom, they're Yom HaShoah, the day of the Holocaust, Yom HaZikaron, the day of the remembrance, Yom HaAtzma'ut, the day of the independence. I would suggest that the names were chosen very specifically. When we hear Yom, most of us Jews think of Yom Kippur, exactly. In the Torah and in traditional rabbinic texts, the holiday is actually not known as Yom Kippur. It is known as Yom HaKippurim. Those who created these holidays knew that. So not only did they name it Yom, a day that they knew would be resonant with Jews who attend synagogue around the world, they named it Yom Ha, echoing the traditional name of Yom HaKippurim. Yom HaShoah, Yom HaZikaron, Yom HaAtzma'ut. And moreover, these holidays, observances, these Yoms, give us another way to understand what Zionism is for us Jews. I am aware that for many Jews in America, and perhaps even for some in this room, Zionism has become a difficult word. But I want to suggest a different way of thinking about it this evening. The United Nations declared International Holocaust Remembrance Day would be observed on January 27th. They declared this 21 years ago in 2005. And there are some in the Jewish community who suggest that we should observe that day as well. But we don't do that so much. We will observe Yom HaShoah right here in our sanctuary on Monday evening at 7 p.m. I invite you all to come. It'll be a community-wide observance involving all the synagogues in our federation area. We don't observe the UN's Day, January 27th, which, by the way, commemorates the Soviet liberation of Auschwitz. We have chosen a different day. And the question I would ask is, who gets to tell our story? Zionism suggests that only we get to tell our story. And therefore, we're not going to observe the day chosen by a non-Jewish body, a day that they say other people, non-Jews, the Soviets, rescued the starving remnant of our people. That is not going to be the day that we observe. We celebrate a day of our own choosing. And the day, traditionally, is said it's the day of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. And thus, the full name of the holiday, or the observance, is not just Yom HaShoah, it's Yom HaShoah Uligvura, day of the Holocaust remembrance and of heroism. It's the day that we rose up against our oppressors and took our fate into our own hands. And thus, I would contend that the choosing of this particular holiday embodies all of what Zionism is and should be for us. An effort by the world's most powerless and oppressed people to reclaim our agency and our power and to determine our own fate in the world. And that connects it to Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzma'ut, who have their own rituals. For example, each morning on Yom HaZikaron, a siren rings out in every city and town, all of Israel, and for 3 minutes, all activity comes to a halt. All traffic stops on the highways and the boulevards. No business is transacted. Everyone takes those moments to recognize the sacrifices necessary to determine our people's own fate in this world. On Yom HaZikaron, Memorial Day is followed by the celebrations of Yom HaAtzma'ut. I likewise invite you to gather with us and other local synagogues on April 21st at Or Hadash in Fairfield for a community Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzma'ut celebration. This new liturgical season, created out of the cataclysms and the miracles of the mid-20th century for our people, are a way to reclaim our Jewish story. May we always live it with pride. Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of You've Always Belonged Here. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. To learn more about Temple Israel, visit our website, tiwestport.org, follow us on Instagram at Temple Israel Westport, or like us on Facebook, Temple Israel of Westport, Connecticut.